Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new over here, then let me quickly bring you up to speed on what has been happening recently. So I'm currently in the middle of posting all my JoyTangle tutorials. JoyTangle was a 25-day Christmas themed Zentangle challenge that I hosted over here on YouTube as well as on my other social media platforms. And I created a list of 25 prompts so that all of us Zentangle enthusiasts could use one prompt every day from the 1st of December to the 25th of December and create 25 beautiful drawings for ourselves. And as per this list, I am currently posting the tutorial for day 11, and the prompt for day 11 was Membranart. Now, I actually took my own sweet time to edit these videos, which is why the tutorials are coming slightly later than the actual day of the challenge. So yeah, but the good thing is that these tutorials can be enjoyed all year long. If you just change the color combinations, they can pass off as festive tangles for literally any other festival during any time of the year. Or it could just be a classic black and white Zentangle project that you can do for yourself. So yeah, feel free to enjoy the tutorial and customize it in any way that you like. Now, as I mentioned, the prompt for day 11 was Membranart. So you can already see me drawing the base structure for that over here. And the idea for this project was to build this in layers. And once I did the base structure with the red pen, then I went back in and created another layer for myself with the green pen. So it's almost like creating a holly bow effect, which is the layering effect in the Zentangle terminology. And I'm using one Membranart under another one. And I will also do the same thing with my gold pen. Now, the wonderful thing with Membranart is that it has these little orbs or holes rather inside the tangle, which are part of the tangle structure. And because of these orbs or these little holes that we create, we can actually see through and create a lot of different layers under them. And that actually creates for a very beautiful layering effect. So for the red and the green sections, I'm going to use the holes exactly as the way they are intended so that we can see through and see what's under those layers. But for the gold section, I'm actually going to use those little orbs as a pattern or a design. So they're pretty much going to be like a printed fabric. So it's almost like white polka dots on a golden stretch of fabric. And for that, I'll obviously have to color the entire section gold, and that's exactly what I will be doing. And you'll see that in a few seconds. Alright, so once I had colored the bottom layer with gold, then I started to work my way towards the top of the composition, or the top of the layers basically. And so for that, I came back to the green one and started to color that in with my green pen. And over here you can already see the layering effect coming through, because with those holes in the green section, you can see the gold under it, and you can actually peek through and see the gold. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing with the red one as well. So yeah, once I was done with the green one, then I moved on to the red one. And again, you can see the layers peeking through. Now at this point, the composition honestly reminded me of stretched fabric installations that we often see in museums and art galleries. So it reminds me of those beautiful light and fabric installations where we have these torn large sections of fabric which are interconnected in a very web-like fashion, almost like those neural connections or neurons which are, connected to each other. So it reminds me of those installations. But yeah, that was playing at the back of my head when I was doing this. And once that red was colored in, then I went back into those empty spaces and started to give them an aura. And for this, I created a standard classic striping effect by just going alternate with the color and the white spaces. So for this, I'm actually using the dark green pen. It almost looks like black right now because of the lighting, but it's the darkest green that is available in the Sakura Micron series. And yeah, that's what I used over there. Once I was done with all those aura lines, I took my red pen again and filled in all those little dots inside the gold pattern. I actually changed my decision midway. Initially, I wanted it to look like white polka dots on a gold piece of fabric, but then I decided that it'd be better if it's red because I felt like the white was not bringing the vibrancy and the playfulness to the piece that I wanted it to have. So I switched it to red. And after that was done, I went back in with my dark green pen and gave the red stretch of fabric a little bit of an outline. Again, I'm calling this a red stretch of fabric, but it's actually the Tangle Membranart, and the fabric reference is just in my head. Maybe you see it in a different way. But yeah, I was just going for fabric swatches. So yeah, with that same reference, I decided to go back in with my white jelly roll pen and started to add in some micro patterns over here. Now, I didn't want it to look very overcrowded and suffocated, which is why I decided to keep the details very simple and also similar to all the kinds of details that I've been adding to the rest of the designs up until now in the challenge. Because as I mentioned before, I wanted all my 25 pieces to look like a cohesive series. So I just decided to add in a few tiny orbs here and there, and it just gave an impression that this is like a fabric piece with these little micro prints or patterns on it. So yeah, that was the inspiration. And then same way, I wanted to treat the next layer, which is my green layer, also as a fabric swatch. So I just went back in and started to add in some simple lined pattern. Honestly, I know for a fact that this is an existing pattern in the Zentangle method, but I can't really recall what the name of this tangle is. But yeah, if I find out what the name of this tangle is, I'm definitely going to put that in the description box later on. But you can basically just make out that it's a simple set of lines, and then you change the direction and start to add a few more lines, and then you change the direction of your tile again, and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very simple pattern to replicate. Okay, and with that done, it was time to add in some details to all those beautiful aura lines that we had created in the background. And for that, I decided to play with all the different colors in my palette and added in some small dots and some small stripes and other small tiny details. Honestly, these little embellishments are a matter of personal choice, because the kind of embellishments that I like might be different from the kind of embellishments that you like. So all these little ornate, intricate details are totally dependent on your personal choice, your personal aesthetic, and the kind of composition that you want to develop. I always think that these little decorative motifs and embellishments are like the salt to taste for your recipe. And yeah, these are the little things which kind of are your signature marks or the little details that define your work as an artist. So feel free to follow along or deviate depending on what your personal choices are. There are no hard and fast rules over here, because at the end of the day, Zentangle is all about taking things one stroke at a time, and it's very intuitive. So what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. So feel free to have fun with your tiles and customize them in any way that you like. Okay, and with that done, it was time to remove the washi tape. I did realize, by the way, that certain portions of this video were slightly out of focus. I think I might have moved my table slightly while drawing, or maybe I don't know, hit the camera stand by mistake. Sorry about that. But yeah, once the washi tape was removed, this was the final result. And this is exactly how I had imagined it. I had basically thought of this as torn fabric swatches one on top of another, and that's the kind of effect that's come out for me. Hopefully you also agree with me. So yeah, that's the kind of effect that I wanted to create, and this is my finished style, and I'm super excited to have done this project. And if you are keen to follow along and see the rest of the projects that I am creating for this 25-day challenge, then make sure that you check out the JoyTangle playlist, which I'm going to link in the description box below. And I'm going to be back very, very soon with the day 12 video. So till then, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel so that you don't miss all the video notifications, and keep creating.